Welcome to another episode of Million Dollar Stories, where we get to interview authors from all over the world. Every guest, we try to have them as a value add for you guys. And if you're out there and you're looking to start a business, or if you have a business, especially if you're a woman, right? Worked with many women. There's some badasses out there. And I think this book that we're going to be talking about is going to be perfect for you out there. It is a great honor to have Jeanette Abney, who's a part of this book called The Making of a Successful Businesswoman. 20 women share their inspiring journey to becoming an entrepreneur. Nice to meet you, Jeanette.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored.
Well, let's start off with the genesis of the book. How did you become part of it? Why were you even invited to be a part of it? Or why did you want to create this book?
Well, I did not create the book. The book was actually created by a young lady by the name of Talisha Berry. And she is an author, and she also owns a magazine called Courageous Woman Magazine. So what she did was she got together with a bunch of women and put together stories that she wanted us to have our own, how we became business owners, what made us, our interest in the book. And
Yeah,
that's basically what it was.
got
So
it.
this is
And so were you always an entrepreneur? Or did you find your way into this crazy world of entrepreneurship, or what made you want to become one?
Well, you know what? I want to say it was not my plan. And I tell everybody, I basically wanted to be an attorney and retire as a judge. But I was fortunate enough to go back to school and get my education. And I was in the wrong program. I didn't even know I was in an MFT program. When the people told me, well, what do you want to do when you get your degree? I said, well, I guess I'll become a criminal psychologist. She said, you're in a marriage family therapist program. I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to do that? I've been married twice already. But, they said if you want to make God laugh, you tell him your plan. And that's
That's right.
um, so with that being said, my daughter was in college and she was studying business finance, and I wanted her to have more than what I had as a child. So when the opportunity presented itself, like I said, I got fired 3 times within 1 year. Most people get depressed. I bought a corporation with the company that had contract. I bought a corporation that had contracts with the company that fired me. I was like, uh-oh. Then I felt like I had a Lucy moment. So that's basically how that happened. And the rest is just basically history. And it's crazy because it has been almost, I want to say, 19 years since I've been involved with and as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman. That
Wow.
time
So
went by.
getting fired was one of the best things that could ever happen to you. Is that what you're saying?
It was. It really was, because I went from working with Orange County healthcare agencies doing assessments and evaluations for non-violent drug offenders to actually purchasing my own rehab.
Wow.
And it gave me a different perspective. So that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I didn't like getting fired from being a court mediator investigator because I was in the courtrooms. But you know what? I now have the ability to reach more people than I would have if I would have become an attorney or a judge.
And so what is your business? You still own rehab centers? Is that right?
Well, basically, I'm the owner of 2 outpatient counseling centers. I own the Center for the Treatment of Addiction, located in Orange County, California, with offices in Huntington Beach, California, and Garden Grove, California. There we do the 52-week domestic violence program, anger management. I do drug and alcohol education, parenting, co-parenting, and I also see clients individually as a therapist. I'm also the owner of J.A. Precious Inc., which I purchased another company that I founded in San Diego County, located in Oceanside, California. And I provide a lot of different services there also. And I also still see individual clients.
Wow. And when it comes to this demographic, women, business women, is it lacking? Is there a lot of women who maybe want to start a business but don't? Have you noticed that anybody came to you after reading the book and they say, "Man, you guys inspired me to quit my job, and go against the wind and really go after my own dreams." Is this a common thing that's out there?
Yes, it is. I would say that a lot of individuals, especially women, we look for stability. We want that guaranteed paycheck. And when you are an entrepreneur, there may be times that you may be the last one on the payroll, or either like me, not on the payroll at all. So it's finding your purpose and birthing your dream is the way I look at it. And I remember a person had said to me, and that was part of my topic when I said with God, motivation, and determination, it's basically the sky's the limit. Because once you set your foot and you want to do something, most women, we procrastinate. We find excuses. We'll say, if I had enough money, if I had enough support, sometimes we just got to step out on faith.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting you say that because if you find your purpose, you almost give your life so much meaning that you're willing to take the pain that comes along with the entrepreneurial journey. And I'm assuming that in the beginning it was a struggle and there is momentum that builds from it, but any really scary days that stand out in your mind that you almost threw in the towel?
You know what? There were several times that I wanted to throw in a towel, but I'll never forget a woman told me one time, she said, I was getting so frustrated because I remember my mother told me before she passed away, which was another reason why I do what I do and did what I did, is she told me, she said, baby, you a threat. She said, the system is designed to keep people in the system, and you have a way of trying to get people out of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Because was knowledgeable in a lot of different areas, whether it had to deal with the court, whether it had to deal with the mental health aspect of it. So, because of what I knew and because of my inner strength, I was a threat. I remember one time a lady said, we don't know what to do. She got a personal relationship with Jesus because they were so angry when I purchased the Center for the Treatment of Addiction. I thought it was personal. It really wasn't personal. It was, who is this woman, grew up, raised in Compton, California, educated, not intimidated by us, and now she owns an outpatient program? And those were some of the battles that I had to go through. And I will say, I didn't know an LLC from an S Corp to a C Corp when I first got started. I had no idea, but I wasn't scared of nothing I could see.
Oh, that's great. I think faith is a superpower. There's no doubt about it. I see people out there who don't believe in God, and I say, man, you're going to lose the people who do. I mean, because it gives you the ability to run through flames, right? I have God with me. You have nobody. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I think it was Cat Williams that said that. I'm not afraid of anybody who's an atheist. They don't got anybody in their back.
Well, and the thing that got me was in the beginning, when I was dealing with all these struggles, I was doing a why me? Why me? What did I do? Why? But it was, why not you? And I've had clients come to me and say, Jeanette, we need you. I've had individuals come to me and say, well, you know what, Jeanette, when my child was struggling with addiction, they did not stay sober as long as they did as when it was in your program. So I was fighting battles that was not my battles, and I just never gave up. But and then, like I said, I remember a lady told me one time, I was so frustrated in San Diego County. She said, baby, you don't sell a yacht. Now, because I've never owned a yacht, I didn't know anything about that. But what she was trying to let me know is where you are in life, a lot of people would love to be. And
Hmm.
you don't give up like that. And I just have to persevere and press my way through.
Wow. And so you see people struggle with addiction, and maybe if you can kind of share with our audience that maybe there's a key ingredient for individuals to break free from all that, and maybe you've seen a common trend. And the reason why I ask is because reading books that come from individuals like Jordan Peterson, he talks about how without purpose, you are going to find your way into some type of addiction. It's just natural. And really, you could break it down to experiments with rats. And what they find out is that if there's a rat in a cage by itself with no community, nothing to play with, it will automatically be drawn to the vices, the cocaine, the drugs that they provide the rat. And it shows that the purposeless rat is prone to addiction, and that shares some type of I think it transcends rats into humans, that if you have nowhere to go, no battle to fight, you always try to find something to distract you. And maybe there is something to be said about that, that you've noticed that individuals who latch onto a purpose can escape the claws of maybe trauma or of the vices that they're attached to. Any common trend that you've noticed that really is alarming?
Well, basically, what I've seen, because like I said, I grew up in Compton, California. So I grew up and I was exposed to a lot, but I've never used drugs. And that's what was so interesting about this is even when I purchased the Center for the Treatment of Addiction, I was not a recovering drug addict. So I came in with a whole different mentality. And I use the whatever work theory. I found that drugs does not discriminate. It don't care how old you are. It don't care your ethnicity. It don't care your social economic status. It don't have anything to do with none of that. A lot of times it's more of a pleasure principle, and some individuals self-medicate. So when we look at whether it's mental, whether it's physical, like I said, I got arthritis kicking my butt. Lord, I would take anything right about now, but I know better. So some individuals I found even use drugs because they were just bored. So I'm not going to even say that they didn't have a purpose, because we have some individuals that are what you call functioning drug addicts, and
And you
they
would never
slip.
know, huh? You could never tell.
You never know. Doctors, lawyers, judges go to work every day, but still are fighting that, trying to get that monkey off their back. So even if it's alcohol, so there's a lot of different philosophies as it relates to that. But I believe in getting to the root of the problem. And I tell individuals, resist, refuse, and be consistent. And even when you offer in support, a lot of times we may not understand what a person is going through, even if it's trauma. So one of the things is you let them tell the story and you try to figure out from them what they need. I will never forget, I had a guy come to me years ago, and he was homeless, very smart. That's why I do not underestimate nobody or their ability. And the man told me, I've been using drugs for over 30 years and I know it's going to get me sober. I had to listen to him. And he told me. And I did just that. The man came back a month later, came to my office. I didn't even recognize the man. And all he told me was, I want to thank you, because I listened to him. I didn't force my will. I let him tell me what he was needing. And the one thing he told me, he said, I am not afraid of failure. He said, what keeps me addicted to drugs is my biggest fear is success.
Oh,
Afraid to be successful.
it's funny
And
that
I was,
people fear that. And I don't understand why, but I guess maybe they're afraid that once they obtain it, maybe that's when bad things will happen to them. Like it's almost like they don't deserve it or something. I don't know.
that part right there. A lot of times individuals feel that they don't deserve it, or they go through what's called like a survivor's guilt. It's like being in a car accident and four people are in the accident and three people die but one. And that one person wonder, why not me? Sometimes individuals feel the same way with success. If they are afraid to be successful because they're afraid it's going to be taken from them, or they believe they don't deserve it.
Mm.
So, like I said, in the field that I'm in, I work with individuals from all walks of life. Some individuals may be referred by the court, they may be referred by parole, they may be referred by children and family services. I work with individuals that have EAP referrals, which is called the Employee Assistance Program. They can be attorneys, they can be firefighters, they can be police officers. So that gives me the ability to learn some things to where I may be able to hear somebody else's story or testimony to be able to help someone else get through what they're going through.
You said
Just by
something that you said
it.
something that was very significant, that you have arthritis, but you know that if you start taking something, it becomes a slippery slope
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes a true battle. Maybe not right away, but eventually, to get off of it, it becomes so overwhelming. It takes so much effort. And that is part of the system, right? Like what you're saying is that the system is that you're fighting, and it sounds like this is like an ongoing battle. You are setting people free, but there's a system out there that tries to keep them slaves, right? They try to keep them hooked on these things. So it's a constant battle, but you see all kinds of stuff out there that go against your beliefs. And I'm assuming that it just angers you, or does it give you more of fuel to fight those fires?
gives me more fuel to fight the fires. Like you talking about addiction.
Yeah.
There are so many individuals that are nurses or people that have had accidents or athletes that are going through pain management that because of their injury that they endured or they're like I said, dealing with arthritis, lupus, cancer, they're in so much pain to where they are given prescriptions and the pharmaceutical company make billions of dollars off of keeping people sick. I remember I had a rheumatologist for over 20 years, and the man told me people do not die from illnesses, they die from complications from medications. And that made a lot of sense. So if I could just give you this pill, you go be my patient. But if I try to give you something else that may help you, you may tell somebody else, and I'm going to be out of a job. So I understand. I totally get it. But you got to be your own advocate. I am what I will Google. I will look stuff up. I will, I'm juicing celery. I was like, I'm used to celery with peanut butter. I ain't used to just put no celery in no juicer and juicing celery and cucumbers. What the heck? But if I'm being told it's gonna help reduce my inflammation, I'm gonna do whatever's gonna take before you telling me I want you to do fusions. I want you to take these shots. These shots gonna cost you like $500 a shot. But these are things that's going on. You know what? And here it is, my phone. I got a phone call.
That's right.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that we don't know. A lot of things that we don't know.
Oh,
and that's how individuals caught up. You got good people. You have educated individuals. You have individuals that are people look up to that are struggling with childhood trauma, addictive behaviors, domestic violence in the home, child abuse in the home. It's a lot of things going on in our world.
Yeah, I watched this. I think she's a clinical psychologist, but she was talking about how women, she was talking to men. She's like, hey, when you are dating a woman, you're not battling with who she is or what she went through just last week. It's
Yeah.
you're dating somebody who's has trauma from the past, and that's who you're competing against, right? Not the other guys that are around, but her childhood and her upbringing. And that made so much sense. So is this something that can just be worked on through therapy or through personal development or getting around the right people? What do you say about that?
I say it's a combination of all three that you just mentioned. Because first you have to acknowledge the trauma. I heard TD Jake say one day, it's not what happened to you is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to do something about it.
Oh, I love it.
Because
Yeah.
I carry that stuff and it be so deep rooted, we will disassociate from it. We'll make it seem like it didn't exist, but yet it comes out and it masks itself in other behaviors, like addictions, like unhealthy, toxic relationships, like gambling. We do a lot of different things because we're trying to forget the pain that we felt or the experience we endured. When we talk about PTSD, the post traumatic stress disorder, it's not the event that occurred, it's how we felt when the event occurred. And those are the triggers that remind us of how we felt. So when we're talking about relationships, we want to make sure that the person is relational. We got a lot of times individuals will go in and they're trying to save someone. We call them, you got on your Superman or your, she trying to be a shero where she's trying to overcompensate for some things because she was afraid to address that inner child and address that issue that may have happened to her. But now she's overweight. Now her immune system is shot. Now all of this stuff is going on because she never addressed the trauma.
Mm. Yeah, you have to, it's like that inner child work, right? You have to go back to when things started to break, fix it there. You can't fix it now. You have to go back to that moment where it started to fall apart and then rebuild it from there. Ooh,
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I tell individuals is when we talk about fixing things, I like to change the language. When we change the language, we change the perspective. I can't fix if my daddy did this to me or my mother wasn't there for me, or I can't fix it. But I can learn to have some compassion and empathize to say, you know what? They didn't know no better. So because they didn't know any better, I don't want to create or recreate a generational curse or recreate history or can repeat the same behavior because what we don't defeat, we will repeat. And we don't even
oh,
realize,
God, I
don't
love
even,
that. I love that quote. What we don't defeat, we will repeat.
we're going to repeat it. We don't know. That's all we know. That's all we know. And so we just have to be more mindful of that. It doesn't make people bad. They may have had something traumatic happen to them. And some individuals may have not overcame, and there's, like we call it, illness. They succumb to their illness. So whatever happened to them has gotten the best of them, and that's life. That was their life.
Hmm. Man, it seems like you're very sensitive to the words that you say to other people, but the words you say to yourself too. Self-talk, extremely important. So is there one, two, or three guidelines that you live by? I mean, I'm assuming courage and being unafraid is definitely one of them. But number two, having this purpose. And number three, being very clear with the words you use. It just sounds like that's what shines through from this communication we're having today. But is there one, two, or three that stand out in your mind?
I'm a very honest and straightforward person. When my clients come to me, they know they go get the truth. And it's not just my truth. Sometimes it's not what you say that I'm going to pick up on, it's what you don't say that I'm going to pick up on too. And I will present it to you so that you can acknowledge it, not to point it out, not to throw it up in your face, not to put you down, because most individuals, when they come to therapy, they are so afraid of being judged, they become judgmental. So I'm very honest, I'm very authentic, I don't take things personal, and I learned to separate their stuff from my stuff. But they also get from me that I care. And they get from me that I'm concerned. So they know that if they honest with me, I'm gonna be honest with them, and they can bring it to me. We'll do the best we can to figure this mess out.
Hmm.
That's basically what I do.
Since writing the book or during the writing process, did you notice any trend that women do that it's very difficult for them to jump this one hurdle? I mean, I'm around many entrepreneurs. It seems like guys don't have too much of a problem of putting out what they truly believe and feeling the effects of individuals who don't like them. And I don't know if I could say that amongst maybe my women clients. They're not as controversial. So maybe is that one of the things that they struggle with, that that they don't want to piss off people whenever they're going after their dreams? I see men totally okay with it. So is there anything that you've noticed that women struggle with that you could help them out with?
It's interesting because you indicated that women are not controversial. We can be, but it's an inner controversial. The battle is within ourselves. And with women, I find that a lot of professional jealousy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we have to stop hating on one another and start supporting each other and start uplifting one another. I call her a sister from another mother. And the one thing she'll tell me is, I appreciate you. Because sometimes the strength in someone else, and we have to stop breaking people down. Now, I can take my book and I can go amongst my family or my females in my family. They won't even read the book. But yet, I can go to other strangers that are curious and are hungry or aspiring to do something. Their whole outlook and perception is going to be totally different. So we have to stop backbiting on people.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because yeah, you try to help your friends and your family, nobody's gonna read the book. You help a
Yeah.
total stranger and they're gonna say this book changed their life. Funny you say that. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And so, and that's where we get our support from. And you just gotta, even if people don't agree or if individuals don't like, that don't mean that you should just give up. Somebody will like it, somebody will tell you yes. And that's just the way I look at it. I remember as a kid, my mother used to tell me no. And I used to say, I don't like no. My mother told me, no is the answer, just like yes. I said, well, I don't like no. I'm going to keep getting on your nerves until you just say, Jeanette, get out of my face. Leave it alone. Yes, you can have it. So I just don't like no. But my thing is, and it's like I just told a woman the other day, she was talking about doing something for the homelessness in Oceanside. And she felt like things were falling on deaf ear when it came to our mayor, our city councilmen. And I told her, I said, birth your baby, birth it. And some women, we self-doubt. We come up with all of these excuses why we can't do this, why we can't do that. And when I told her, birth your baby, I didn't need to say nothing else. Her response to me was, thank you. Meaning, if you know this is what you want to
Do it.
perfect. Just do it. Don't sit up here talking about who ain't doing what and all that. Do it. I know this woman have a dream and passion in order to help homelessness and end homelessness in the city of Oceanside because she was once homeless and was given a chance and is doing well. So you're not going to be able to uplift everybody, but there are some individuals you never know what they may learn from what you put out there.
Mm.
When I talk to individuals who say, Jeanette, you my mentor, I don't be trying to be nobody's mentor. I don't be no one who's paying me any attention. They're just like for today. I'm thinking I was gonna do something else. I'm sitting up here, I got my food ready, my coffee ready. And you sit up here like, you ready for the interview? I'm like,
But you have and I think this is the philosophy I see amongst the most successful. They have a ready, fire, and then aim philosophy. Who cares? Let's just go. Let's just do it, right? And that is a superpower in the entrepreneur space,
mm-hmm.
right? Quit trying to be perfect out there. Just get
Yep.
things going, right? If you have a dream and an idea, it's not, regardless, if you have all the resources, you're still going to make mistakes. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you say birth that baby, it's like, hey, let me just get it going. Let me get this idea out into the world. And it's amazing when they see a courageous individual who will not stop at anything. Other people see that and they say, I want to be on that person's team. Let's build it together. There's a lot of momentum that's built based off of your ability to just not stop. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you the first one in your family to become an entrepreneur?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What
I
did they
come from
say?
well, my mother, my mother passed away, and it's been almost 16 years since her death. And she died at 59 from breast cancer. So that kind of what inspired me to do the Precious Predicaments, because I'm also a podcast host. So I've had a podcast for over 7 years. And with J.A. Precious, J.A. was just the initials Jeanette Abney, Precious was her nickname. And the one thing that I've learned from her, and I gathered a lot of strength from her, but she also told me before she passed, she was afraid for me. She was afraid because I was a threat. And I didn't view it as me being a threat. I tell people I used to be a bully who bullied bullies because I wasn't scared of nothing and nobody. And I was always even bigger than the other kids when I was a kid. So she was afraid for me. So it was more fear. So my family tried to pretty much isolate me from a lot of things because I would be the one, I'm class president, I'm do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do, because I wanted to make changes because I know fair is not always equal. But I also learned from my family, from watching them, how to fight differently. So when I am under attack or when people are coming at me, the way they think I'm going to respond, I'm going to come something totally different. I may come in a camouflage. You might even know, not even know who the hell I am. You know, so I had to learn that from my family. At that point, I learned from my family, but they was afraid for me. They was afraid.
Mm.
My mother told me a long time ago. She was like, "Get on people that business back. You out there in Orange County and da 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 da." And did you not know? I didn't know nothing about Orange County. I didn't know nothing about Orange County, California. But now I get mad respect. The clientele appreciate me being there, and I do what I'm supposed to do.
Mm.
And you asked me a question earlier, that one of the things I want to say about me too is I do the right thing no matter what. My intentions are pure. I'm not trying to harm anybody, hurt anybody. I don't do things for money. I do things because I have a passion to do it.
Do the right
And
thing. That's right. When nobody's watching, do the right thing. That's it.
and that's what I find that makes me successful because it don't have nothing to do with my bank account. Absolutely nothing.
Oh,
But I do the right thing no matter what.
wow. Outside of your own book, this is a question we ask all of our guests. Outside of your own book, is there one that stands out that you recommend to our listeners and viewers that changed your life or maybe got you to think a little bit differently?
2 books. One of the books was written by Earl Graves, and I tell individuals because when I bought the Center for the Treatment of Addiction, I didn't know an LLC from an S corp to a C corp, and he wrote a book entitled "How to Succeed in Business Without Being White." So When I was under attack and they was coming at me and I'm being investigated by the IRS, the EDD, the National Equalization Board, you name it, they was coming my way. I just sit back and just smile and laugh because that book actually saved my life because it taught me a lot. And it's right here.
Wow.
See me when I tell them about this title. But this
That's
is the
unbelievable. Unbelievable title. Boy, is that clear, huh?
Oh yeah, it's written by Earl G. Graves. It says "Straight Talk on Making It in America." So when I had to go through them ups and downs, and I said, "Oh, so this is what I need to do." Oh, okay, so it helped me a lot. This one, and when we talk about entrepreneurship with women, the other book is written by Sophia Nelson. Let me grab this one. And it is actually called, and I work with a lot of my female clients that have low self-esteem issues, relational issues. And the book is entitled The Woman's Code. This is another one. And The Woman's Code, it talks about 20 powerful keys to unlock your life. And she even talks about how to, stop looking backwards, look forwards, make peace with your past. She gives a lot of tips to help individuals, and even as far as women supporting women. Those are two books that actually saved my life.
Jeez. So you were going through a storm, and the book was your saving grace, basically, your sunshine that kept you at least thinking the right way.
Well, and you know what? Here's the deal. I didn't even know I was going through a storm. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I thought I was doing a good thing. I thought that I was trying to start developing and generational wealth. I'm thinking I'm doing all of this stuff, but then now I'm under attack. I'm like, what the heck did I do? A kid came knocking on my door selling peanuts, the popcorn, for $20 a bag. Now, me and my little greedy butt, who wants to spend $20 on a bag of popcorn? I did. With that came a subscription where you had to choose magazines. And that was how I learned about the book, How to Succeed in Business Without Being White, because I ordered Black Enterprise magazine. So that helped me. So it wasn't like I was looking for something. It came to my door.
So you're saying that popcorn led to a magazine, the magazine led to the book. Hey, there's a phrase out there: when the student is ready, the master will appear. It just meant you were ready. That's it.
I had no clue. I had no clue because when I would go to other business owners, nobody would help me. When I went to individuals that had outpatient counseling centers, nobody would help me. And that's why when someone calls me or they want to ask me a question or they're thinking about opening up a group home or a residential facility, I don't mind sharing what I know.
Man, you said some great quotes. And the one that stands out that I'm going to post about later today, that you don't defeat will repeat. I love
Yeah.
it. Jeanette, oh man, is that great? The website you have that people can get a hold of you at is Jeanette Abney, LMFT. What's LMFT stand for?
Licensed marriage therapist. Licensed marriage family therapist, LMFT.
Got
They
it.
changed the abbreviation. It used to be MCC and then it was MFC and now it's LMFT for licensed marriage family therapist.
Got it. Okay. And so if they go there, they can get a hold of you, check out everything you have to offer, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Beautiful. The book is The Making of a Successful Businesswoman. It's on Amazon. It's a part of it seems like there's 19 other women that share their story. So hopefully they're as courageous and well thought out as you are, because that's phenomenal what you just shared with us today. So I appreciate your time. I know it's time for what, dinner, or is this lunchtime out in California? So get back to your food. I appreciate you giving us some of your insight. And anything else you want to share with our audience?
No, I want to thank you for reaching out and connecting with me. I appreciate it. I also do public speaking. So if there's anyone out there that's looking for someone to come and encourage and motivate or inspire women, corporate, whether it's in a church setting, a corporate setting, an educational setting, I'm knowledgeable in a lot of different things. And one of the platforms that I said, like I told the other lady to birth her baby, mine is I am not perfect, but I'm good enough. And a lot of times individuals are so striving for perfection because they haven't even realized you're good enough.
That's right.
And I that message, and I want to spread it to individuals to help individuals become a better them by knowing I'm good enough.
That's right. And especially if you have a faith that's strong, you realize that God made you a certain way, and God would not give you a dream and not give you enough to make that dream a reality. So I'm with you. If you're good enough and you
I
feel
gotta
like you're
laugh.
good enough, it'll shine.
I gotta laugh about that one. I remember one time they used to say that God don't give you no more you can bear. I went to the altar and said, Lord, I think you got me confused with somebody else because this is too much. This is too much. All this can't be mine.
Well, it's all a test. It's the way I look at it. Everything is
Oh
a test.
God. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And the thing is, even when it looks like it's getting dim and blurry, don't give up. Just keep on. I had a pastor, his name was Pastor Ham, and he used to say, keep on, keep it on. You got to keep doing what you got to do.
I agree. The website, guys, is Jeanette Abney, LMFT.com, the making of a successful businesswoman. And I really appreciate it. You can find Jeanette on Facebook, I guess, Instagram, LinkedIn, Jeanette Abney, LMFT, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time. And remember, guys, $1 million book will lead to $1 million life. Right on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.